Their entire country has been captivated by ISIS. The beheadings on YouTube revolt us all. But the Shiite extremist alliance based in Tehran is more dangerous and more evil. They have killed far more Americans, hundreds in the 1980s in Lebanon, hundreds in Iraq, and hundreds in Afghanistan from Iranian-provided IEDs. This alliance of Iran, Assad, Hezbollah, and the Houthi is wrapping up victories in the Middle East now. They're not just more evil because they've killed more Americans. They're responsible for the deaths of 200,000 Syrian civilians. The difference here is that Assad, supported by Iran and by the money that Iran now has available, when ISIS kills 50 people, they put it on YouTube. When Assad kills kills thousands, he has the good taste to deny it. Now, the nuclear deal was not supposed to be a get-out-of-jail-free card for everything that Iran does. We have Sections 301 and Sections 302 of the Iran Threat Reduction Act that I worked with our former and present chairman on. You've only designated 70 entities under 301, but just as important, under 302, you have not sanctioned a single business that I can identify for doing business with the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, an entity that puts new blood on its hands every day in Syria. Mr. Smith, what's the most prominent or well-known company that has been sanctioned for doing business under Section 302 for doing business with the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'd have to get you that information.
I got the information, 0.0.
We've done a significant amount of IRGC designations. IRGC is one of the
designations are nice. What about sanctions?
Designations are sanctions, sir. Designations under this authority.
I'm talking about secondary sanctions.
So when we designate an IRGC, if you have the IRGC label on our website, then if we designate...
Okay, look, the IRGC isn't trying to do business in the United States. The IRGC is getting its supplies from companies in Europe. Which European companies have you sanctioned for doing business with the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps?
When we designate an IRGC and we put an IRGC tag, that carries secondary sanctions.
Have you imposed a secondary sanction, Mr. Smith, or can you just... The filibustering is supposed to go over on the Senate side.
The answer is if they carry secondary sanctions.
Have you designated, have you imposed a secondary sanction on any business in Europe?
Not because the European actors have moved away from that business.
And none of them are doing business with the IRGC?
I have not seen evidence of European actors continuing to deal with the IRGC.
Okay. What about South Asian and East Asian actors?
I haven't seen.
Nobody's doing, okay, because the Treasury Department has announced that the IRGC is this huge economic monolith. You've only designated 70. There are a lot more fronts for you to designate. But you say it's this huge economic, and yet you can't find a single East Asian, South Asian, or European company that's doing business with them. Let me move on to Air Mahan, another designated entity, the airline of choice for the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps and for thugs going to Syria to kill people. They're flying Airbus aircraft into friendly countries in the Middle East and Europe. Those Airbus aircraft have U.S. technology on it. What have we done to prevent those aircraft from being received in those friendly cities?
A number of agencies of the U.S. government, including Treasury, Commerce, State, and others, have been actively engaged to try to prevent Mahan Air from being able to fly.
Have we stopped anything, or are we just sending letters?
We have stopped.
Where have we stopped Mahan?
I don't think I can say in this setting. But
can you get that to me confidentially? We haven't, let's put it this, they're flying into an awful lot of European and Asian and Middle East friendly cities. Why haven't we nailed a single bank for doing business with Mahan? No secondary sanctions on any bank.
We continue to try. We continue to do what we can to follow the
evidence. But we can't find a single bank that's doing business with Mahan?
If we find the evidence, then we will go after them.
Okay, but you have found zero evidence of any I mean, we're relying on the executive branch to enforce this deal because you're able to monitor what Iran does. And here's an example where you've got a major airline doing business in dozens of cities, and you can't find them doing business with a single bank.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman. Thank you. Mr. Rohrbacher?
Thank you.